Guys, you are tuned into the Thrive Network. I'm Susanna Kennedy, and today's session is called Thrive in Wealth. And the reason why I've got the lovely Lauren Dallas with us is because she is such an excellent example of what you can do when you apply the right knowledge with the right action. And I'm just going to share a little top of the line version, but she went from an idea to six figures in 1 year, which I think is absolutely incredible.
You know, even if you start a business from a very practical standpoint, how do I grow this online presence and bring customers in? You end up realizing that it is more a personal journey than anything else, and it challenges you to your very core. And I also think having so much time by ourselves with our own thoughts during COVID, it's become even more apparent. And that prioritizing things like wellness and mindfulness is as important as getting your marketing out the door. Building a business that delivers the life you want, and designing first, like, what is the life that you want to live? Where do you want to wake up in the morning? Who do you want to be surrounded by? How do you want to spend your time? How much time do you want to spend on different things? And then building a business that delivers on that.
There's a part of me that just went, no. I'm not giving away this dream. I'm going to hold on to this dream. And even if it takes me longer to build it, I'm going to just stick to it. So I wonder if any of you have experienced the same thing that Lauren is speaking about and that I'm speaking about. We are here. It is the Thrive Network, and I have the amazing girl boss, serial entrepreneur, Lauren Dallas, who is one of the founding members of Future Females. And I am so excited to have you here, Lauren, for so many reasons, because we've got lots to talk about today. But how are you doing? Is it nice and warm there in England? Because it's freezing here.
I wish I could say yes. I actually just checked before. We are at 13 degrees where I am in Kenilworth in the UK, and Cape Town is 11 degrees. So I've got 2 degrees on you.
Okay. All right. So you got 2 degrees on me. It's that proper London weather today. It's all gray and it has not stopped raining for 2 days. So we basically experiencing the same thing at the moment.
Well, enjoy.
So, Lauren, you spoke this weekend at the first international connection summit that had only women. How was that for you? Because, I was also one of the speakers, and for me, it was just so inspiring to be surrounded by such incredible women.
Absolutely. My gosh, I literally spent my whole weekend listening to all of the sessions start to finish, and most of this week for the follow-up webinars. It was incredible. I also think there was a different energy from all of the attendees as well. And there were men who also attended, but
yes,
it was just so supportive. And I think it was just, as most of Brian's summits are, it's bringing together people who are really committed to their own transformation. And so it's always beautiful to be exposed to other people like that. And it's really inspiring.
It really is. And something I love about the direction he's going in is that he's taking the entire human being into account. Before Real Entrepreneur was very much it was very business focused, but now it's taking into account all these other aspects of how to be a well-rounded human being. And it was so wonderful to have women on there speaking, like yourself, speaking about business, but from a conscious place, and I think that business is going in that direction. And I also know there were a lot of men online. And of course, Robin and Brian held the space so beautifully for all of the women as well. I thank them for that. But there were 16,000 or 17,000 registrants that actually registered for the event. And then there were thousands, depending on the time of day, there were thousands online at the same time. So that's such a great show of the fact that people do want to invest in themselves and they do want to actually better themselves, and that they are taking the action that is needed to make this world the way that they want it to be.
Absolutely. And I think, like you were saying, this move from it being just a business conference to being a human conference is such an important shift. And it's something I've been thinking a lot about at Future Females as well. Even if you start a business from a very practical standpoint, how do I grow this online presence and bring customers in? You end up realizing that it is more a personal journey than anything else, and it challenges you to your very core. And I also think having so much time by ourselves with our own thoughts during COVID, it's become even more apparent. And that prioritizing things like wellness and mindfulness is as important as getting your marketing out the door.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. Well, guys, you are tuned into the Thrive Network. I'm Susanna Kennedy, and today's session is called Thrive in Wealth. And the reason why I've got the lovely Lauren Dallas with us is because she is such an excellent example of what you can do when you apply the right knowledge with the right action. And I'm just going to share a little top of the line version, but she went from an idea to 6 figures in 1 year, which I think is absolutely incredible. I see there's a lot of you tuned in. Hello and welcome to all of you. I do see you. If I don't wave at you all, I apologize. I will try and wave at you throughout the session, but I'd love you to be very interactive. So I want to know, do any of you own your own business? So if you do own your own business, just give me a comment below and just say yes. And if you don't, just say not yet, or maybe you don't want to own your own business, and that's okay too. Maybe you're just wanting to build your personal brand for fun. That's okay too. So just let me know where we are in terms of the listeners today. Also, last week we did launch a competition, and a lot of people said, please, can you extend it, because we didn't know about it. So I might ask Lauren if we can extend it for 1 more week. And what the competition was that the best comment of what is the piece of information that you get out of the session that rang the most true for you, the most actionable for you, the most useful piece of information. That's what I want to know. So all you need to do is, while we are doing the session, listen, whether you're watching the recorded session or whether you're watching live, and just say, this is amazing. I get this point, or this is such good information. This really helps me, so that I know where you guys are. And the person who gets the most out of it, that's the person who's going to win. So Lauren, do you want to tell them what they can win?
I do. So I think a bit of context is, obviously we all know that content is really critical, particularly for an online business. We need to be continually putting our messaging out there, adding value for our communities, for our audiences, attracting people into our business. And yet, for a lot of us, instead of that being an exciting proposition, it becomes very overwhelming. And what I call the content hamster wheel. You wake up every day and you're like, oh my God, what am I going to post today? I'm still sitting in my lounge. Like, can I really post another picture of this? And it can become quite stressful as opposed to, strategic. So I am one of those people. I am an analytical marketer. I love being in the data. I love being in my ads manager. I don't particularly love planning out every day's content. So I have turned it into a formula and packaged it up into a 1-hour masterclass. And it is called my social content planning workshop, because that's what it is. It helps you plan out your year's worth of content, and it should be an exercise that takes you about 2 hours to do. So it helps you think through, like, how do I strategically map the content in a way that's going to grow my business and my audience? How do I create it and batch create so it's not an everyday task? And then how do I schedule it so it's like once and done and it's being published out there for you? So that's the competition, winning that workshop. And then there's a downloadable content calendar as well.
I mean, that, for me, that just sounds amazing, because I'm on that hamster wheel, of, okay, what do I need to post today? Oh, I've got this guest coming up. Okay, I must remember to post that tomorrow because they're coming up on the next day. And to actually just be able to spend it, at the end of the day, it's just over 3 hours, because it's doing the actual workshop with you online and then sitting down and doing the planning for 2 hours and jumping off that hamster wheel. For me, that sounds amazing. Let me know if you guys feel the same. Give me a heart in the comments below if you guys feel the same. Daphne is saying not yet. Adriana is saying, yes, I have one. And a few in the making. Wonderful. Elizabeth is saying yes. Lauren is saying not yet, but I have a few ideas, thinking and planning the best path to take. Wonderful, guys. I love the feedback. I'm looking on Instagram as well. You guys are more saying hello, 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 holla. But let me know where you guys are in terms of owning your own business, whether you want to own your own business or not. And then we are going to go over what your challenges are. Something that Lauren inspired me to do was launch my first online course, which is starting on Monday. And that was very much to do with going through some of Lauren's courses and just using you as an example, actually, Lauren, in our conversations. But maybe you want to tell people a little bit about that journey.
Yeah. So I guess what the journey of starting my first online course.
Yeah.
I can definitely do that. So I think, we touched on this concept maybe 2 sessions ago where I spoke about this on the weekend, about really building a business that delivers the life you want and designing first, like, what is the life that you want to live? Where do you want to wake up in the morning? Who do you want to be surrounded by? How do you want to spend your time? How much time do you want to spend on different things? And then building a business that delivers on that. I've started a few businesses and I've had them fail. I've closed one down because the love was gone. And then I went back into corporate as well. So my journey was definitely not a straight line. But in any case, skipping ahead, otherwise I could talk for our entire time about this journey. What happened for me is I moved physically to South Africa. And that was because I'd been living in Sydney for 18 years. And I was like, I just need to get out. And actually what it was for me, the clincher, I realized, like, in Australia, you live to work. And you'd go, look, I worked till 2 a.m. last night. And your group of friends would be like, wow, that's so impressive. That so Whereas in South Africa, they'd be like, why? Like, can't you get your job done in the appropriate amount of time? And like, I don't care what you do, but who are you? What do you want to create? And so I really wanted to move. And when I did make that move, I had no friends. I had no pretenses. I had no network, no nothing. And it was a really beautiful time for me to just think and just go, like, rather than jumping at every opportunity, which is what I had been doing, shiny object syndrome, starting every business idea I saw other people being successful with and wondering why I wasn't succeeding. And instead just going, like, what do I really want? And like, what makes me happy? Which I think is the hardest question to answer for me in any case. Really, really hard. And it takes time. But what I realized is I needed to be location independent, financially independent, and yeah, my non-negotiables, I set 3. One was never have to have an office. The second was don't build a business where my time equals money, but rather I could create something that could be sold multiple times without more requirements on myself. And then the third was there needed to be a social impact and purpose behind it. And after creating those, then it was really clear to me that online education was my niche. I wanted to support entrepreneurs. And I remember in the first couple of months, I met with a bunch of people and they were like, no one's going to want online training. They're going to want you to do it for them. And someone actually offered me funding. He was like, why don't you just start up an agency that helps entrepreneurs bring their business to life, that does their website and their marketing for them? And it would have been so easy sitting by myself with no network and no money to just go, okay, cool, yes, let's do that. Think like someone believes in me. But I thought it through and I was like, oh my gosh, then I would have to have an office. I'd be location dependent because clients want FaceTime. I'd have to obviously commit my own hours because people typically buy from the person, not just the team. I was like, no, that's going to lead me completely away from what I want in life. So I stuck to my guns and said, I'm just going to do online training. This is what I believe in. This is the impact that I want to have. So I guess that's why and how.
But that's amazing because, this morning I was actually having that thought. I was just thinking, wow, it would be so easy if somebody came along, because somebody actually approached me at the beginning of this week and they said, we love what you're doing. We want to collaborate. And there was this sense of possible ownership being shifted, and I've just started creating this specific baby, Thrive Network, but it is so easy at that beginning stage where the money is not flowing yet, where, you're not quite sure where things are going or how exactly it's going to work, to go, oh, that would be so comforting to just get somebody to come on board as a financial investor. And, but then there's a part of me that just went, no, I'm not giving away this dream. I'm going to hold on to this dream. And even if it takes me longer to build it, I'm going to just stick to it. So I wonder if any of you have experienced the same thing that Lauren is speaking about and that I'm speaking about. Just give me a thumbs up if you have, or just any comment in the comments below. Guys, also, whether you're watching this live or whether you're watching a recording of it, if there's somebody that would benefit from the information that's being shared, please do just tag them in the comments below. That always is very, very helpful. So I see that that Adriana is saying that is a very hard question, one I'm wrestling with at the moment. Adriana, are you saying the question of what actually makes you happy and what do you really want to do? Because I think you are talking about that, and I know it is a very specifically hard question. How did you start answering that actually for yourself, Lauren?
So back then I did a lot of journaling, but I can actually just share something I've been working on the last 2 weeks with my entire HQ team and actually the founders who are part of our Future Females Founders Club. We've been doing a vision boarding exercise. And what we did is we started with our core values, like what is really important to us, and then literally visualized it into boards. And it was super simple. I screenshotted a bunch of pictures on my phone, just scrolling through, put them all onto a PowerPoint slide, and then just started documenting like what this meant. So for example, right now, if I compare my vision board now to what it was a year ago, there's a lot more pictures of like beaches and water sports and adventure and adrenaline now, because that's what I'm lacking. So, but I maybe hadn't thought through that lack. So I would say, if that sounds interesting to you, then some visioning. It's also really nice because it takes you out of our brains are hardwired to be pattern focused. So it's easy to get stuck into the routine. What I did yesterday is what I'm going to do today, and only see the opportunities that are like natural segues from what you're already doing. Whereas when you take time out and you think about like your vision and you start thinking in pictures and imagery as opposed to in text and in patterns, then you can think a whole lot differently. So I would encourage you to just do that. And if you don't want to start from your values, you can also just start with like a really basic matrix of like mind, spirituality, wealth, health, adventure, whatever those natural life categories are for you. And just visualize it all and then try and translate what it means for you.
So that, I mean, that's such great advice. And that's actually exactly how I did my vision board. Was that I broke it down into the different areas of my life. So in my health, like what do I want my body and vitality and energy to look like? And then I found images that correlated with that. And then I looked at my relationships and I was like, okay, there's obviously the intimate relationship you have with a partner, but there's the friendships and there's the family and all of those. And I found images that fit into that. And Robin, when he saw my vision board for the first time, he was like, oh my goodness, Bobana, he calls me Bobana. He said, oh my goodness, there's so much. And I said, I know, but I am so much. So obviously my vision board would end up being so much. But it can be as simple as breaking it down into the 5 sections of Thrive, if you guys feel overwhelmed by that. So go into love, health and healing, spirit, wealth, mindset, and happiness, and just finding one image for each of those. Even if you start there, it'll start your imagination going. So I really love that. I use vision boards as well. Magda says, this makes so much sense. Very helpful for organizing my thoughts. I'm so glad, Magda. That's really, really great. Lauren, can you help self-catering cottages as tourism is in a standstill at the moment. She definitely wants to take your course, Elizabeth is saying. But she is, I mean, tourism is in a tough space at the moment.
First, yeah, I was just saying, I can only imagine the struggle at the moment. And we do have a couple of people on our Future Females Business School program specifically who are from the tourism industry. One of them she was running an Airbnb management business. And then suddenly, obviously, her whole community is like, what do we do now? So we worked with her to pivot and create like an information product for people, which has been performing quite well. Someone else in the tourism industry, actually, I was just on a call earlier, was organizing retreats. And she was planning this big retreat in July, and the partner to Greece, and the partner in Greece was like, obviously we need to refund. And she was like, no, we're going to turn it into an e-retreat. So I think that it's hard because what was working is not working, and particularly in tourism. So your core business right now, I can understand, is struggling, but there is a lot of opportunity, again, when you think like a little more broadly, a little more creatively about what you have that you could use to at least supplement income from your core while this is kind of coming back to life. So I'm sure we could definitely work through the process for you.
Yeah, definitely. And guys, remember to always just think very broadly, because there are so many skills, Elizabeth, that go into running a self-catering cottage, and creating courses around those skills. That could be something that you could do immediately. I know there are so many people who don't know how to do so many things that you have the knowledge to do. That could be one of them. I've also seen, Lauren, I don't know if you've seen a lot of these virtual tours going on, where people are creating like these virtual online tours, which I think is so much fun and really cool, specifically because people have been feeling stuck, right? So I definitely think, Elizabeth, that you would get a lot out of doing Lauren's course. She does have a course. Lauren, do you want to maybe tell us a little bit about your course, the from idea to six-figure income? Because I think that would maybe be a great journey for anybody who's listening, because I can see there's quite a few that have got ideas, but they haven't quite actioned them yet.
Absolutely. So we actually started yesterday with a new group of people going through our business school. And essentially, we started the Future Females Business School because we saw there wasn't enough support in that really early idea stage. And also that people stayed in that stage a really long time, mulling the idea over, questioning whether it's the right thing, endless planning, rather than just taking it to market. I spoke about something on the weekend, actually, at Brian's Summit as well, which is the biggest thing holding back entrepreneurs. And it's particularly relevant for entrepreneurs in the idea stage, or who maybe have an existing business that's not working so well right now. And that is our ego. And putting aside our ego and putting aside thoughts that we know what the market wants, we need to start asking instead of assuming, putting aside any humbling ourselves that even if we had a strategy that was working really well 6 months ago, it probably is not going to work so well today. Or if you've experienced that it's not, put it down. Let's start thinking differently. And also, just put aside that ego that what we've learned before is still relevant. And so this is kind of the work and the premise that we built business school on. We said, okay, let's assume we're all starting from scratch and we're just going to be humbled and trust a proven process. And so it's a 10-week course that starts with the idea, validating it, visioning, validating it from a personal, from a market, and from a competitive differentiation position, and also then a financial position, of course, moving through, again, our PAVE model. So we look at the 4 building blocks: profit, attraction, visibility, and engagement, and how to build a business that can be sustainable by having a profit plan in place, a brand that's different and attractive, a visibility mechanism, meaning like your social content or your social ads, and then an engagement system, which is typically email marketing. If you have those 4 things in place, then it's almost like a system that can just run behind the scenes, and it's profitable. So every month you take the profit that you earned and reinvest it. So every month you're seeing gradually increasing income and growth in your business. So this is the process that we go through. Literally, if you have very little time, we work a lot with side hustlers, even perhaps limited energy, limited finances, how can you still build something now, not for your market, but with your market?
Amazing, amazing. Lauren, and so you've just started today, but how often does this school start? Because it is, you said, a 10-week process.
It is a 10-week process. So we will probably have a date in July that people can sign up for. You can secure your spot now. We never take more than 100 people and we split it. So we obviously have standard content and that curriculum of building blocks, but we also assign you a coach so you can get personalized feedback on your progress as you move through. So yeah, we can absolutely share the link to my free webinar as well on this, so you can learn more about that PAVE model and how it would apply to you and the idea that you're thinking through, and then jump as an early bird into business school if you'd like to join us for the next.
Amazing, amazing. I see that that Regan Clay, he heads up Congrats South Africa, and he is saying this is valuable content, and he's giving us the fingers like that, which is just great. Thanks, Regan. Nice to see you online. I also see that there was a question here that I just want to touch on. Here, Marianne, she says, we are in the security industry and need to sell different products. You know, Marianne, the security industry, I actually think is not a terrible industry to be in at the moment, because people are feeling insecure. And so if you can think a little bit laterally and how you can really make people feel safe, different ways, like just broaden your mind, I think you could actually really help yourself, but also help a lot of people. Lauren, what comes up for you around the security industry?
Absolutely. I think just exactly as you said, Susanna, I couldn't put it better. People are feeling insecure right now. And so depending on your suite of products, I'd say you're well positioned to be able to support people, particularly at this time. But again, the process would just be asking. You know, it seems like you're already in business. So approach some of your best customers and just say, like, how are you feeling right now? What are your security concerns right now, but also moving forwards? What are different products or services you've been thinking through, and create what they want?
Absolutely, absolutely. And just what could I do to make you feel safer? Like something as simple as that. What would make you feel safer at this time? And what could I do to help you with that? Guys, it is about to be 11 o'clock. And so I'm going to do my crazy thing. At 11 a.m. in South Africa is the time that the most people in the world are awake. And I know all of us have our different times in the evenings that we go outside and we sing and we blow vuvuzelas and we do all kinds of things in gratitude for the people out there that have really, really helped us. But I always howl. So 1, 2, 3. Oh! Thank you. And I just realized it's actually 12. It's not 11. It's just that Lauren and I use it's session at 10:30, and so I'm watching the countdown and I'm just watching the minutes. I'm blushing so hard. Well, it goes out twice today, guys.
Oh, cool. It's 11 for me, so I think it's all good.
Oh, yay! Okay, good. I'm glad. Okay, so guys, do you have any more questions before I let Lauren go? Please do let me know, but I will post the link for Lauren's free 1-hour webinar. So for all of you that have ideas, that want to take them from an idea to a 6-figure salary, then that is such a good webinar to watch. I've watched it now more than once, because every time you watch it, you actually get more information out of it. And she also has this amazing business school that actually supports you week by week for 10 weeks to take your idea from your head and into the physical reality, which I think is amazing, because so many of us end up not taking action because we're scared of taking those first steps. And sometimes all we need is somebody to hold our hand, and it really is that simple. This also is part of, just so that you guys know, Future Females community. And so you will be joining other entrepreneurs that are going through exactly the same things that you're going through, the same struggles and the same challenges and the same fears. And so you can share with them. You can say, I'm scared. I don't know how to do this, or I messed up with this. And you can share your successes as well. So that's another great thing. And I know, Lauren, you posted about that about 2 days ago. And it actually is a theme that's been coming up the whole week in different ways, is celebrate your successes, guys. It's so important to actually stop and take note of what you have achieved. And just by doing that, it actually, I'm speaking now from an energy perspective, but it shifts your energy vibration from a place of lack to a place of abundance and a place of welcoming in more of what you actually do want. So let me know, give me a heart if that makes sense to you guys. And if you're on the same page as me, I'm Susanna Kennedy. This is the Thrive Network, and we've been speaking to the fantastic Lauren Dallas. So if you're watching this live, or if you're watching a recording of it, please give us a thumbs up, a share, tag your friends below if you found it useful. And if there are any last questions, type them here. Lauren, is there anything else that you'd like to say before I let you go?
I think just touching on the impact and the power of community. I mean, communities like Future Females, communities like this one, your Thrive Network, they're so important. We actually operate on the principle at HQ and my team that people come for the content, but they stay for the community. You can sell an event by who's speaking, but it's a good event if you've made a connection with someone else like you. And so for anyone who is perhaps feeling a little bit alone or a bit stuck, seek out other people. Something I often say is, for the entrepreneurs tuned in, only an entrepreneur can understand another entrepreneur's journey. And so if you are feeling a bit stuck, chatting with your family, chatting with your partner, chatting with perhaps your work colleagues, it might be cathartic, but it's not going to help you move in the right direction. Instead, try and seek out forums where people are talking about the exact situation you're going through, that exact journey. I am so grateful for my co-founder. I have someone literally at the exact same stage as me who I can speak to daily, and my fiance is my partner in my other business. If you don't have a co-founder, then at least go and find an accountability partner, someone else, and you can find them in Thrive, in Future Females, someone else who's like, I'm also feeling down today, or I also have no freaking clue how to do Facebook ads, but I know I need to. Whatever it is, it's actually priceless to have someone else to bounce whatever situation you're feeling off.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%. And I mean, that has been one of the deepest wishes with starting Thrive, is to bring together like-minded people who are invested in investing in themselves and in making this world a better place by making themselves better within this world. So a big love to all of you and appreciation for being here today, and to Lauren, because I love the community that you've created. I love the ethos of Future Females and what you stand for. So thank you so, so much for sharing your knowledge and your lovely energy with everyone.
And thank you. And for everyone who's tuned in and been commenting, it's been awesome spending this time with you. Thank you for sharing so openly as well. I hope it's been helpful, and we'll be speaking again soon in any case.
Absolutely, we will. And I can see so many comments that there were hearts flying up and thumbs up flying up. And we've got True. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this. So people did get, thank you very much. Got you guys all. I am seeing you all. Patty, Daphne, Marianne, Anu, Elizabeth, Enos, so many, Magda. So I do see you guys all, and on Instagram. So we're going live on Instagram and on Facebook. So I try and see everyone. Christy, Debs, Luke, my best year at 50. You go. And so many others. So thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. If there is something that you guys are battling with, please do get in touch. Even if you just comment below and say, we would love Lauren to speak about this, because this is something that I am battling with. Just type it in the comments below, and then we'll see how we can address it, because this is about empowering you. And if you missed last week, engagement, as Lauren said, is one of the most important things, guys. Whether you've got an online business or whether you've got a business that needs to have presence online in order to grow, engagement with your customers, with your audience, is massive. And so if you watch last week's episode, Lauren will speak about the 3 things that you can do right now to grow engagement on Instagram. And I am going to run that competition for 1 more week, but then I'm going to announce a winner. So get typing in the comments below, guys. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Bye for now.